Today we're going to take a look at the new Google Nest Doorbell. This is the new third generation of the wired camera, and I'm really excited to test it out as I never finished my video for the second generation. But today we're going to be installing it, showing you how to get it connected in the app, and a few of the features. Let's get started. So first off here, it's going to be very similar design by what we saw at the last version. So here, this is what the old one looked like. But let's go ahead and see what is in the box. So here, this is enhanced by Gemini, and we can easily get this unboxed. Now Google has gone to a new no plastic boxing, which is really nice. So there we have the new color. This comes in 3 colors. There is a linen, a hazel, and a snow. That's the one I have right here. Then here you have a 20-degree mounting plate. So if you want to adjust the angle so you can see a little bit more one direction or the other, that's included. Then here we have the bracket that we're going to secure it to the wall. Then here we have the mounting screws as well as a secure hex key. And then here we have the wires that you're going to attach to your existing doorbell wiring. And these are some of the best wires for any doorbell, so easy to attach. And then we're going to put these on the back of the doorbell here. So it's going to be wired there. And then here we have the doorbell connector. So in order for your existing doorbell to give enough power to this doorbell to be wired, you will need to add this into your chime to be able to adjust how that all works. And then here we have 2 spacers. So if your wall is a bit angled, to get it even out a little bit, you might want to put one of these on the top or bottom, depending on how that all works out. So here on the instructions, you do have your setup code. So that's the same code that's on the back of the doorbell. You will want to save this somewhere secure so that if you ever need to reset it, you don't have to take it off and you can re-add it to your account. Or maybe you move and you want to share it with the next person, they can easily add it to their account there. And then in here, there are the instructions as well as a sticker decal to show that they are being recorded. So great that everything you need is here. Now taking a look here between the last generation, they are exactly the same. The only thing I notice is right here on the 3rd gen, that little ring is a little bit bigger, but inside there's definitely some differences. And then one other cool detail that I don't know if you've seen is right here, you can see hello in a bunch of different languages around the outside. So that's kind of a fun detail that they have added, but the device itself, very simple. You have the doorbell press here. There is a light indicating that it is being recorded. And then there is the microphone there. And then on the back here, this is where you will install your power. Now there's actually 2 ways in which you can install this. So inside there is no battery. This is not the battery powered version. It does need to be wired, but there are 2 options there. So first is you can wire it to your existing doorbell. Now for that, you do need to have a transformer that's compatible. I'll go into detail in just a second. But the other option is you can get a power adapter and then plug this in and you will have it working. It just won't work with a doorbell that you might already have in your home. So here is the power adapter I'm using and it works just fine. And it has the cables that we need to attach here. We just attach them to any one, plug it in. It will then have power and we can start using it without having to wire it into an existing doorbell setup, which is great. So this can be used anywhere. So let's go ahead and talk about how to get this wired into your home. So first, a brief recap on how doorbell wiring works. After turning off the power, and now disconnecting and removing the old doorbell, here we have the 2 doorbell wires. So there's a white and a red, and these are interchangeable. So it doesn't matter which one goes on which side of your doorbell. And those wires go into here, which is the doorbell chime. So one of them is going to be connected to the trans or the transformer, and then the other one is connected to the front door. Now this was set up previously for my doorbell. So most likely this is how your doorbell is wired. You have one connected to the transformer and then the other one connected to the front. So when the wires connect together on the doorbell, that's what makes it chime. Now where's the transformer? Well, right behind my doorbell is where we have our transformer. In my last house, it was connected to the furnace. So it could be in many different places. Notice how this is actually wired up is the doorbell wires are coming here. So we have the red and white. The red one's connected to the transformer. The white one is going to be connected to the front chime. And then the other red is connected to the transformer as well. And you connect that to the transformer. So that's pretty much it. If you are having any problems, you may need to replace the transformer. Now that we have a better understanding of doorbell wiring, let's head into the Google Home app to get this connected and then installed. So here I'm going to jump into the Google Home app. And then I'm just going to tap the plus here at the top. If your Google Home app looks different, there is a new version. Make sure that you have updated to the latest version. We're just going to tap add device. And now we're going to scan a QR code because there is the code right here on the back or the other code that I showed before. So here it knows what device it's going to connect. Going to tap next, go through legal terms and other guidelines. And now it wants us to locate the transformer and the chime. And then here it says at the chime, that is where we're going to add the chime connector puck. Now again, if you're having any problems, you need to make sure that you have a transformer that supports 18 to 24 VAC or 10 to 40 VA. There you can check the requirements. Here you can go through if you have any problems. We're going to gather these tools, which we've already had. All right, so now we need the chime connector puck. We're then going to turn off the power, remove the cover, and now we're going to take a picture of the wiring just to have it in case we ever need to go back. Now, if you had a previous smart doorbell, you may need to remove the existing chime connector. Here, you're going to tell it how many wires you had. So I have 2 wires, and now we're going to tell it what the labels are. So we have the front, trans, and the rear. So that's what I have. And now this is for the front door. So it's nice that you go through, tell it what you want. And now it's telling me that I need to remove both the front and the trans cable. And then we're going to add the chime connector just on top of those. And now I'm going to tighten those back up, and we can attach this with a sticky somewhere inside the chime box. And now we're going to place back on the cover. And next we're going to install the doorbell. So the first thing we need to do is find the mounting plate. Then we're going to remove the old doorbell, which we have, and disconnect the wires. And now we need to choose which angle we want the doorbell to be at. So here on the left is what it looks like without the wedge installed, and over on the right is what it looks like with the wedge. So it gets a little bit more. If you want a more angled, I'm sure you can even find third-party wedges to be able to add a further angle on your home. Now, when you install this, you need to make sure that you leave room to add the hex key on top. So if your boards line up differently, that might be adjusted. And now we're going to add the wedge on first, add the mounting plate, put the wire through. We're then going to screw in the mount, and then we're going to add the doorbell connectors. One of the benefits of the wedge is you do have a little bit more room to put those wire connectors inside. We've added them to the back of the doorbell. Now we just need to squeeze them and press them on. Now going to push the wires up, then we're going to place this on, and it fits onto those little circles, and then you're going to push down to lock it into place. Now we're going to add in the security screw. Now turn on the power. It's now asking if the status light below the lens is blue. Yes, it is. And there it found the doorbell and is connecting to it. Next, we're going to connect it to our Wi-Fi. Here we're going to choose to save the password to our account. And now we're going to choose where the doorbell is going to go. So it has some of the rooms that we could add it to. We also could create a new room. So we're just going to go ahead and call this the front door. And now it's going to go through and do any updates. Now that it's connected, the green light is indicating that it is recording. So whenever you see that, it's recording, which is always. If you see the green light pulsing, that means somebody is viewing the camera live. Now we have the option to test the chime. So we don't have an electronic chime, but we do have an indoor chime. And then here we have the option to turn on visitor announcements on our Nest speakers or our Nest Hub displays. So I do want to have that turned on. And then we're going to choose what language we want. There are a few different languages here. And now we're going to turn on if we want video history. So do we want things recorded? Yes, we do. We're going to turn that on. And now we have the option to turn on the microphone as well as the audio recording. So on each clip, there's going to be audio with it. And now our camera is set up and we can see it here in the Google Home app. So if we go into here, we can quickly see the doorbell. Now that we've added that wedge, you can see that it's able to see all the way to the opening of the door. So it's great. We see a lot more there, and then all the way here on the porch. So we can even zoom in there and see very crisp and clear. I love the colors on here so far, looking very nice. And here it's nice to see the live view of what is happening here on the front door. Kind of interesting that we got a fire truck coming inside. But you know, that's what happens around the home. We have a few options here at the bottom. We can simply talk through the doorbell. So we do need to turn on the microphone here. You can adjust the camera volume. You can also turn on audio recording. We want to do that. So now I can tap on here. I'm talking, and on the other end, it is listening to me, and I can talk to the person that is standing over at the door. We can turn that off. If they're talking, we can hear them.
And this is what it sounds like from the phone. You should be able to hear me unless the kids are driving down the stairs.
Then over here, we have some preset messages. If I can't make it to the door, I can simply tap a message.
Just a sec. We'll be right there. Hi there. No one can answer the door right now. We'll be notified you stopped by.
And it will then send that message out. And then over here, you have a menu button where you can turn off the camera. So if you don't want it to be viewing anything at all, it is now not recording anything. And then we can simply turn it back on. And you have the option to go to quiet time. So if somebody rings the doorbell, it's not going to actually ring the doorbell. So here you can set that from 30 minutes all the way up to 3 hours. So that's great if baby's napping or something. Now here it's showing that this is the end of video history, meaning there is nothing that it has recorded yet. Now there's two ways in which the Nest Doorbell works. So this version, over the last 6 hours, if it caught any motion or saw any vehicles or people, it will record a 10-second clip of the motion that it saw, and that will be stored here. But after 6 hours, those clips expire. So it's not stored long-term and you can't see it long-term. So if you are needing a doorbell that is able to see more, well, this can do that. You just have to pay for the subscription. So here you can see we're already hearing things happening out there. So you have a nice live view that's fully available. But if you want 24/7 video history for 10 days, you can subscribe to the Google Home Premium, or that will actually have 60 days of events. So all the events it saw for 60 days, you will see those. So this actually works a lot better if you have a Google Home Premium subscription, but I'm using this right now without that subscription. So I'm gonna show you fully how that works over the next few days as I'm testing this. So now let's play with this for a while and I'm gonna come back and show how the video history works. Oh, hi. Let's talk about that 6 hours of event history. So in the Google Home app, once I tap on the camera, down here at the bottom, you will see the different events. And if you click this little box over here with the lines, that's going to show the event history. So right now it's 4:15 p.m. And if I scroll down, you will see that all the way to 10:15 a.m. I have different events showing. So again, 6 hours ago, those events now expire. So every minute it's expiring the last minute of events behind it. So I think that's great that they have now extended that from 3 hours, which the previous doorbell had, to 6 hours is great. And as you can see, there are a ton of notifications. So here, if I click on one of these, it's showing this event. And, you know, depending on what happened there, could be a few seconds to 10 or a little bit more seconds. So if we go to the top here, there is an event I want to find. So you have a few ways to do this. You can just simply scroll through and see if you can see what is happening. Oh, Brett is at the door, so that's pretty close. The other option is I can click on this box and it will take it down further into each and every event. Or you have the search icon where you can then search for specific things that happen. So on this page, we also have the option to filter down more about what events we're looking for. So we can search for a doorbell press, a person, package, vehicle, or those other types of motions. We can clear those. So I am looking for just a person. And here as I scroll down, I can see the different clips. Some of them are even 14 seconds long. Oh, there I am at the door. So I can click on the clip. I can then listen in. Oh, hi. Let's talk about that 6 hours of event history. So that's actually pretty good sound. Now, if I find a clip that I want to save, I then just have to tap the menu button over here and tap save clip, and it will save whatever length it recorded. So there it actually recorded 19 seconds, which is more than the 10-second preview that they are talking about. So here we can tap save. We then now have it on our device and it's not going to expire like all the other clips. So it's kind of nice that you don't have too many things that are saved, but you do need to make sure that you're going through and looking at something if something had happened within the last 6 hours. The neighbor the other day called me saying somebody had ran through their fence and one of my cameras caught them, but if they didn't find out soon enough, and if I didn't check this soon enough, that would have been gone. So you need to make sure that you go quickly and check it and download it before that's gone. Now, so far, this has done a great job at seeing different items throughout the night. When I got up this morning, looked through, it didn't record much throughout the night except for one car that had driven by. So it's able to pick up all the way out in the road, and it does a little bit of pre-recording before it sees an event and a little bit after. So it's doing a great job at capturing those events. Now next, let's check out the notifications that you're going to be receiving from the Nest Doorbell. So up here, you can see I have these different notifications, and I can drop down and there are a ton. So I have person seen notifications right now and doorbell notifications. So if I tap on the doorbell notification, it's going to take me right to that event, and then I'll be able to quickly see what has happened or who has rang the doorbell. And you can see as soon as they push the doorbell, then that is when I was able to see, and we can see these other notifications. It jumps right to those as well. So quite a bit can be done. And then over here in the notifications, you can see what it detected. So if it's a person detected, it will show a person. That little icon is a motion detection. And if we want to go further in, let's select all of these. And so you'll start to see cars and other things appear depending on what kind of notification that it did see. So quite a bit is there that you can see. Now, if you do want to advance what this can do, you would want to go and subscribe to Google Home Premium. We can do that by going here into the settings, and we can go right here and learn more. So we can get up to 60 days of event history. So there's two plans. There's the standard plan, which gives you 30 days of event history, and the events are quite long. Or you can get the advanced plan, and that gives you 10 full days of recorded history. So every second for the last 10 days will have been recorded, and then you'll have event history for up to 60 days of all of those events. So that is a lot. Now, the Google Home Premium subscription can be a standalone subscription, or if you're already paying for Google One, it is included in that, or some of the Google Gemini plans as well. The Google Gemini Pro plan, it will be included in that as well. So you'll get those advanced features, and I believe it's the standard. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go, but let's go ahead, switch this to my other account and see what other benefits we get to having Google Home Premium. So here it's showing that we do have a 30-day trial to try it out. We get a few more features. Next, you can have notifications that are more detailed. So here it's showing a person carrying flowers instead of just person seen. And then of course you can do automations with Gemini and other things. So then it takes us to sign up. And again, here are the plans. So the premium comes with the 30 days. You get Gemini Live on speakers and displays. With the cameras, you get familiar face detection. So if it sees me, it will know that it's me. And that has worked really well to find where somebody is at a certain time on the cameras. You have sound detection. So the speakers can listen to smoke alarms and let you know if one has been triggered in your home. You can detect garage doors. So if your doorbell saw a garage door, it can notify if it's open or closed. And you have emergency calling. And then with the advanced, you get the more event history and the actual continuous video history. I'm now setting up the Nest Doorbell on an account that has Google Home Premium, and in the setup process, it's asking if I want to turn on familiar face detection. So here I can select the cameras. I can go down here and turn on front porch doorbell. So what that does is if it sees me, it will let me know that Brett was seen, or I can tag my kids, I can tag neighbors and other things and recognize different people, which is really cool that you have that integration, especially with the new Gemini features that are coming. Here we have the option to stay in the know, and now I can show you those enhanced features you get with Google Home Premium. So here we can go into our history and we can see it has already tagged me because I have enabled face detection, and I have previously gone through and tagged my face. I'll show you how to do that in a bit, but let's hear what Brett has to say. So the first thing is going to be longer events. Instead of being limited to that 10 or maybe 15 seconds, it now will be able to record much longer events. Now, if you have the standard version, you're just going to have the events. But if you have that advanced version, you're also going to have a full history. So here you can see, as I'm talking on the door, I don't have to worry about which part of this is going to be saved. I can keep talking because it's going to save that full length of the event instead of just a small clip of the event, which is really nice if you want to have a more full security camera keeping track of everything that's happening. If I'm standing here a while, it will be recording me the whole time. If I move back and forth, it will keep all of those events. So that's really nice. I love having the longer events. Now that we have it set up on an account that has Google Home Premium, let's check out some of the extra premium features we get. So heading into the settings here, the first thing is we now have the familiar faces. So as you saw just now, you saw that it detected Brett. And if it detects a face that it doesn't recognize, it will show up here and we can go in and give it a label the next time it sees that face, it then will tag that person. Down here, you can see all of my different labels, and that has actually worked really well, even from little kids. So it's nice that I can keep track of who is coming and going from the house. So that is one of the premium features. Really love having that. If we go down here to the events, we then have the option for under events, we can turn on Gemini for home camera features. My account has access to that now, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So I've been doing some testing, and if we go into the feed where you can see each event, you'll see some more detailed responses instead of just person or package. It's going to give you a lot more detail. So right here it says Brett walks on porch. Pretty correct. Person walks on sidewalk. Brett drinks on porch. That's right. I was drinking a soda and I was wondering if it would know if I had a can or a water bottle, but it just says Brett drinks on porch. We can click on that and then we can see the event happening there. It is taking a little longer than I'd like, but here you can see that full event where I come on here, open a can of soda, and I'm drinking. Very accurate. So that's really cool. Another Brett walks up on porch. Brett picks up pumpkin. Brett sweeps porch. I was actually using a kid's shovel, so not 100% accurate, but pretty close. Brett opens package on porch. So I was playing with one of my robot lawnmowers and seeing what it would detect. You know, maybe over time it will know, hey, that's a specific robot lawnmower. Let's go ahead and tag a robot lawnmower. So this is something that can learn and get better over time. Down here it says Brett drinks water bottle. So I was drinking a water bottle at that time, so it does know the difference if it can see that. And then here we have that first one. Oh, we have person delivers package, which was me. And then here we have the person detection. So it's really cool to have these different events be tagged instead of just a person was detected. Now I do have this on one of my other cameras that we've been using for a while. Here we have it on the other Nest indoor cam. And if we go through, you can see that child interacts with 3D printer. Child removes object from tray. So that's very accurate. Remove the printing bed there and child plays with objects. So it would even tag him if it was able to see his face, but in this angle, it's not able to see his face. So you can see there's a lot of things and very descriptive in what it is able to see. It knows that that's a 3D printer. If we go to the backyard here, we can also see that this feature gives other things like child plays in yard, child walks by, and other things like that. Now, one of the cool things about having Gemini for home is it then gives you a home report at the end of the day of what different cameras saw and kind of puts it into one simple to understand message. So here under the activity tab, we now have this Sunday home report. So it says Sunday afternoon, Theo was seen at the office closet camera. He removed a white object from the 3D printer and he took out the printer bed before walking out of view. So it's kind of cool that it was able to recognize all that and tell me that information all in one. So the more cameras you have, the more things it's seeing, the more full your home report is going to be. And then now you can also see all these different things that your cameras has seen throughout the day. And we can go, I have a few devices. So if we go in here and we go to just the doorbell, we can see just those events that have been happening recently. So those same events we saw on the other page are happening here as well. So it's really cool that now this is more fully integrated into the Google Home app with Gemini. Now, the last few features you get with Premium is longer video history. So if we go into the video history settings here, instead of just 6 hours, we now have up to 60 days and 10-day 24/7 video history on the advanced plan. So if you have the standard plan, you're going to get 30 days of events. So longer events, you know, instead of just the 10 seconds, you get the longer events and they're going to be stored for 30 days on your account, plenty of time to get those. And then here on the advanced plan, you get 10 days of full every second video history and then 60 days of those event history. So plenty of time. So if I go back here, now you can see when I scroll through, there is a light blue. That means that it has recorded just life. Every second is recorded, but it doesn't have any event detection there. So if I scroll down, you can see that the clouds are moving here in the background, and you can see every second of the last hour that I've connected it to this account. And that's really nice. I love being able to have that just in case it doesn't record something. When I was doing a test last night, one of the night vision recordings, it didn't record that 10-second clip. So I'd have to go and re-record that tonight. So typically that doesn't happen, but it might happen every once in a while. So you may miss something if you're only using that free 10-second clip. A light had just turned on and then I came onto camera. So because the light turned on, that was its 10 seconds and it, for whatever reason, didn't pick up the next 10 seconds. So having the premium feature with every second is nice to have just in case something happens and you miss it. Like the neighbor had a person run into their fence and they wanted that on camera. So yeah, luckily one of my cameras did catch it, but in the event it doesn't, it's nice to have that 24/7 video history. And then all of these little bright areas are the clips and how long it recorded. So I click on one of those, it's gonna show that clip. And if we go to the menu here, we can save the clip. And instead of just a 10-second clip, you can see this is 41 seconds. Or we have the option to download the full last 5 minutes. So it's really cool that I have much more options here than I did with the free version. The only thing that's missing here is a full time lapse, which we used to have in the Nest app online. You could go in, you could say, I want a time lapse from this time to this time and download that. Hopefully Google's working on that, we'll see. But really cool that I now have more full video history right here in the camera with premium. Now you can quickly go through and save a bunch of 5-minute clips spread out 5 minutes apart and create your own time lapse. Just took a few minutes to do that. Would be nice if there was a quick option to do it. And so that is pretty much all the extra features you get with Google Home Premium. And I think it's definitely worth it. If you're really wanting to make sure that you have your home protected and you can see what's happening, it's going to be worth it having that full 30-day video history. It's going to be a lot better than just the 6 hours. But as I showed, you can get by with just buying the camera and then using what it comes with without adding any of those extra premium features. Now in the notifications, you also get rich GIF notifications. So if I pull this down and here you can see I have some notifications here, I tap the little arrow and here you can see I have that animated GIF of the package being delivered. So it's really cool that without even going into the app, I can see what the doorbell saw. And there you can see that we have all kinds of different notifications. Sometimes it doesn't have that, but there you can see some of those. Now that's also going to happen on your watch. Let's see how this works on the Pixel Watch. So here on the watch, I can go to my notifications. There it has a package that was seen. If I scroll down, it's showing an animated GIF of the package being delivered, which is really cool. And if I want to go to a live view, I have the option to tap live view right on my watch. So it goes into the Google Home app on the watch. Now this is using the Pixel Watch 3, but any Wear OS device would work. I can use the crown to zoom in. It does go to that corner, but I can pan around and see a little bit more about what was delivered. I can zoom all the way out. I can jump into the menu here. I have the option to talk directly through my watch to the doorbell, which is cool. I also have the option to do the quick responses, and then I have the option to turn off the camera if I want to. So it's really cool that the watch has all of those deep features that the app has as well. All right, we're going to do a notification test. So I am about to walk in front of the doorbell and see how long it takes to appear on my phone, and we'll do a doorbell press as well. So there I appeared, and I do have it set to person notifications, just a few seconds, and there it saw me. Pretty good. In here you can even see that rich notification that automatically appeared and it's zoomed in on me. Kind of nice. All right, same thing, push the button. All right, there we have the notification. It did take longer than I would have liked to see it appear on my phone, but one of the other benefits you have here on Android phone is if somebody rings the doorbell, you can see the notification right here that it has detected somebody, and you can tap on it and go right into the doorbell. So kind of cool that it has all that integration. Now let's go to the settings of the doorbell to see what's available whether you're using free or the premium version. Throughout the year, there's actually different sounds that change. So let's talk about the different doorbell themes you can choose. Here under the doorbell settings, you have the classic themes and then you have seasonal themes. So the seasonal themes will automatically remove and appear during certain times of the year. So right now, Halloween and Diwali, those are going to show up, but then in November, we might see something different, and in December, we'll see some as well. But right now, we have the classic themes that are available. So let's go ahead and listen to what all of these are. Let's start with Ding Dong. Here's Birthday Party. Here's Happy Birthday. Nest Classic, Digital, Bells, and Westminster. And then right now we have Halloween. And Diwali. Down here, you can choose none on the seasonal themes, and then up here, it's going to select the classic theme, but if you do choose a seasonal theme, it's going to default to that. Then we have some options for visitor announcements. So right now it's ringing the doorbell, but if I wanted it to ring my Google Nest Hub and my Google Nest speakers, you can do that as well. So if you are using that wired connection that I showed in the beginning and you don't have it connected to a mechanical doorbell, this is great that you can have it announce on your other Nest displays that you already have at home, so you don't necessarily need a chime.
Someone's at the front door doorbell.
And here the doorbell automatically displays because I have the happy birthday theme. You see a little birthday icon. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? So there I can tap the button to talk through it. I also have the option to do the responses right here, and they will hear it on the other end. And when I'm done, we can just swipe it away. And they ring the doorbell again.
Can I have my casserole back?
Your casserole dish? I already ate the casserole.
Yeah, the dish.
All right, I'll be right there. I can also pull up the live view of my doorbell right on my Nest display by going to Home Control. And then here I can see my front door camera, tap live video, and then it will start streaming that and I'll be able to hear it and I can talk through it as well. Then you have the language and you can turn on and off the mechanical chime right here. And if you need to set it to an electronic chime, you can do that as well. So then down here under events and notifications, so here under events, it's saying, hey, you want to turn on the history. So here we have the option to turn on the max bandwidth, which is fine. We can turn on low. We have night vision, so always on, auto, or off. And then the status light, high, auto, or low. All right, here's an example of night vision. I do see the IR LEDs on. It's set to auto, but those are automatically on. So it's using those to see what is happening. There is a big street light over here, but the porch is. And that is where the clip stops because we don't have the Google Home Premium extended event. But overall, that looks really good. My face was very detailed on here, very sharp, even though the porch was very dark. And this is what it looks like if you turn off the night vision. So here you can see that porch light is lighting up half the porch and the rest, so here you can see the street lights lighting up half the porch and the rest is pretty dark. And another clip cut short, but it looks okay. It's gonna be much better when we turn on the porch light, but I would recommend having the night vision on at night if you don't have a good light source by the door. And here is the doorbell at night with the porch light on and the infrared lights turned off. So this is as good as the nighttime is going to get. So as long as you do have some light, this should look pretty good. And this is the night vision always on with the porch light on. Shouldn't be too much different, but it is just black and white, but a lot more bright. And when you do walk up to the porch and it detects you, it automatically illuminates the glow ring so that you know that's where you need to press. We even have the option to go in and create different zones. So if we don't want it to get the road, we can come in here and create a zone. So it's then just going to notify me if somebody reaches the porch or my steps or whatever. So we can go in and create multiple zones for that. So there we have all of those settings. And then we also have the audio settings, which we've already adjusted that you can adjust. Now within the Google Home app, you can set the doorbell as a favorite to quickly see it when you go into the app. So if we go over here to the favorites tab, it now is showing up as a favorite. If it's not, you can tap edit and you can add that to the favorite and then it will show up here and you can reorder it. But as soon as we go into the app, we can have it quickly display and we can open it up fully. Now under the events, you also have the option to adjust what kind of notification is going to notify you. So down here, we have under the event history, we can turn on notifications for people. We have packages. We also can turn on for animals, so dogs and cats, and you can turn on or off the notification. So it would record a dog and cat, but you're not going to be notified. You have the option to turn on for vehicles, and then you have the option to turn on for all motion, and you can turn off that notification. So that's going to help give you the most notifications that are available. And last, let's take a look at some footage versus the Nest Doorbell 2nd gen and the Nest Doorbell 3rd gen. So here on the left side of the screen, we have the 2nd gen version. You can see the different aspect ratio, and on the right we have the 3rd gen, and you can see just how the colors are a little bit better, a little more sharp. And if we zoom in on something, you can see just how much better the new version is than the last one. You know, there's always room for improvement, but I think it's good that they did increase the size with still being able to upload everything and have it all accessible on my account at any time. So I'm really excited about this new Nest Doorbell 3rd generation. I think it's really good on the improvements they've made, increasing the resolution as well as the aspect ratio, and then adding some of those Gemini features. So it'll be interesting how this is able to adjust over time. Are we going to be able to do more with Gemini on the speakers and Gemini on the cameras and interacting with them, doing events based on people it sees, certain things like that. So hopefully a lot more comes, but this is so far a really good camera. And we covered pretty much everything today. So if you have any further questions, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to pick up one for yourself, make sure you check out the link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.